morning, everyone. I'm Debra Birnbaum, the executive editor of TV for Variety, and I'm delighted to present the cast and crew of Major Crimes. Starting to my left, we've got Mike Robin, executive producer.
Hello, everybody. Happy holidays.
And then Phillip Keene.
Good afternoon.
Mr. JonTenney.
Hello.
Kearran Giovanni. Woo. Graham Patrick Martin. Jonathan Del Arco. And Kathe Mazur. Hi. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
So what did you guys all think of the episode? So, I think, what's so amazing about Major Crimes is how you've continued the tradition, the transition from the closer and kept it up so well. How has that been for you?
Well, very lucky. We were all thrilled when TNT said, we want to continue exploring these characters. We feel like America wants to see more of these characters, and they started out and said, here's 10 episodes to see whether or not we're right. And we were thrilled because we've got this great family that we had set up over 7 years, and we had this wonderful vehicle for storytelling that gave us great stories, but it was a character journey. We had set it up originally as a character journey, and when we first did the closer, they had the platform from Law and Order, and they said, this is where we want to sort of start from, but give us something new. And we said, well, what if Law and Order was very, very plot heavy and a little bit character light in terms of how much detail you get into the characters. And we said, well, what if we flip that prescription? And let's go heavy into character, and we'll have good, solid mystery storytelling underneath. And they were like, deal, that's great. And so through 7 years, we had built out this journey with these characters. And as we started into Major Crimes, we felt like the audience wanted more. And we introduced some new folks, Kearran and Graham, and we had a lot more Johnny and Kathe, and we've been lucky that everybody has wanted to see more of this group.
What's really struck me was what you said to me backstage is that these are characters we've known for so many years, but you've been able to seamlessly fold it in a new ensemble, and that's really been so gratifying for the audience, and I'm sure for the actors as well.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's a trick when you're doing. We're heading into our 11th year with these characters. 7 years with Closer, now 4 years, heading into season 4 of Major Crimes, and we keep learning more about everybody, and that's really fun for us. And I know it's fun for the actors. And we just sort of toss the ball to somebody new every week and go, okay, here you go.
No, I know it's really fun from an acting point of view, especially because you can take this. We've been given an opportunity to take, well, like you say, 10 years to evolve a character, and as in life, things change incrementally, and you evolve as a person, and characters evolve slowly. So it's not like you don't have that pressure of, hey, within 2 hours. This little story, you got to take this whole arc. You can make these little incremental changes, which is a real gift from an actor's point of view, that you can just layer those little things in. And to be honest, you're discovering it all the time, because when we began this whole process years ago, none of us knew exactly where it was headed. We were all sort of taking these little steps, and so that process of discovery has been really, it's been a shared thing for one, but just having the privilege, like you say, to have that process has been really, really rewarding from an actor's point of view, for sure.
It's also a great way to see yourself age.
Not at all.
That falls on the not rewarding
It's very
side.
strange
Right?
when you look at one that's on late at night, like from the Closer season 2, and you go, I remember thinking I looked really crappy that day, but I look great now.
No, it's
now
true.
that I'm
It's true.
seeing
It's
I'm like, I look so good.
If
then.
I only had those concerns now, that
Yeah.
would be so much better. Yeah, it's really, that is a crazy thing as an actor to see that. Yeah, no, it is crazy.
Graham, can you talk about that?
He doesn't age.
I don't know. It's like no. Well, actually, I'm 47. So I have good doctors.
And he'll be selling that youth potion out in the lobby for all of us later.
We keep him in a cage. Like a veal. Go for
I
it.
always say, I have ice cubes in my freezer older than you.
James won't let him eat any fatty foods.
Kearran, can you talk about what it was like for you to join this ensemble?
Oh, well, obviously you see that they've created a really amazing family after 7 years. So they are the most welcoming, open-armed, easiest people to get along with you could ever imagine. And they wholeheartedly, like a little sister, took my hand and brought me into the family. And I feel like I've been here for 10 years with them. We share a lot together. We're together more than we are our own families. And it really does feel like it's me surrounded by mostly, not Kathe, because she's not there all the time, but like my brothers. And so it's been really wonderful. And like they also said, it's been a great experience as an actor to be able to take these little pieces that you find out, and you get these little gifts every now and then when you see a script and you go, oh, I learned a little bit more about myself and where I'm going to take this character and what I get to feed off of for the next, hopefully, 5 years or 20. I've got 2 small children, so I'd like this to go for a really long time.
Memo to TNT.
So I've been very, very lucky. It's a great family. We actually hang out just because we like each other as well. So, yeah, I know it's crazy.
And you actually go to different events. Weren't you guys all in Florida together?
Yeah, we wrapped, and then instead of running from each other, we actually all got on a plane together.
And spent the next 5 days
And
together.
spent the next 5 days in Naples doing a charity golf tournament and staying up far too late and playing bad golf and wearing matching outfits. It was really fun. But yeah, we do lots of crazy things like that. So it's been wonderful.
Kathe, what's your perspective on all of this as a member of the ensemble?
Well, from an actor point of view, for me, it was just another audition. My first audition, it was just going to be a guest on one show. And so I think that my experience with this show is it's very heartening for actors, that you don't know. You never know when you walk into an audition what can come of it. And so it's a constant gift to me. It could have been one episode. It could have been, it could have stopped after the closer. So my experience just keeps getting richer and richer. And I like coming in. I feel like it mimics what happens on the show. I play a character who has to come in and have a perspective that's different from these people who are always working with each other. And I get to come in and, look at them and see what's up with them. And my character is very much, to me, she's very much based on what they're doing, how they're behaving and how they're acting in a certain case is where I get all of my stuff from, and if they're acting petulant or if they're acting reasonable, that's where the character comes from, is what these guys are doing. And so I've just been very lucky to be with, a great team. So it's great for me.
One of the things that, and I think this is maybe a neat nugget for all of y'all, we're very responsive to what actors show up with. This happens constantly, and this really happens in episodic work that's getting into year after year. Successful episodic work, just a little heads up. When you bring something that is dynamic or really interesting, sometimes it's like, okay, come in and just say the words and just hit this character right on the nose, and then thank you very much, and you go on to your next episodic role that you get. But when something shows up and you've just put a little English on it in a way that makes the creators or the producers go, oh, what's that? And then you put just a little seedling in there that there's another little potential life to that character, and it doesn't necessarily, it doesn't mean you're being non-compliant in what you've been asked to do in the role, but we sort of read that and go, ooh, that's sort of fun, and then you sort of generate another opportunity for that character to come collide with your series regulars. And I would say that happens with our series regulars all the time too. Like somebody will show up with something. Strange enough, like a lot of the things that you watch in there, you can see sort of GW sort of raising his eyes at a lot of behavior. Likely that's behavior that did actually occur from the actor, certain actors, Tony Dennison, on the set.
Robert Gossett.
And those, and you'll notice there's some, Phillip is quite good at indicating exactly, letting us know exactly how the cast feels about a certain moment that's going on in there. And just, you can see us grabbing onto a nugget and then writing to it. And because we love actors. A lot of places are a little, just do this. But most real places that are worth their salt, they love actors. What you watch there is a piece that's about words and actors. And, when you get to show up and do your thing, whether it's an audition or whatever, doesn't mean you have to make some, just vivid, crazy choice. It has to be born out of the behavior and the situation, right? But, don't be afraid to put a little, push the gas a little bit in some interesting way. Because we'll write to it, you can motivate some ideas. And that's, you guys are storytellers and we're looking for it.
I have a question for Mike.
Would you like this chair?
Yes,
I
the gentleman down there
The
with
gentleman on
the
the end.
I want him to share something that he shared with me early on about how from the closer, and it goes back to your original question, how the focus was sort of through Brenda, and how you as a director, and not just the writing, but in the direction in the way that you use the cameras to be closer to us. Remember that conversation?
Yeah, there's a whole, the closer was called The Closer. And there was a very large clue about point of view to the storytelling right there. And when it switched to Major Crimes, so it went from being her to them. And so that, on a filmmaking and storytelling level, is a big clue as to what you need to do in terms of content dictating the form that you take. That just changed everything, because all of a sudden we went from being like, when we photographed stuff that was purely about Brenda, it'd be all about her, close-ups here, and then kind of everybody else sort of having a point of view sort of orbiting around that. And now, as you watch different stories, you're seeing, 2 or 3 stories, personal points of view of things, where we actually have to access and get close to all those characters when you sort of define in each episode who, because we toss the ball to everybody a little bit heavier, and we move that around. And when that happens, their point of view sort of gets pushed up in any particular episode. So again, it becomes more about them than about her, even though there are, more specific elements in each episode. Like, again, it might be a Kearran episode, it might be something, this episode, there were a lot of things that were important to JonTenney. Or sometimes that just happens in moments, where he has a very specific point of view about what's going on in a particular moment.
It also switched to very much being an ensemble show as well. Not that it wasn't with the closer, because that would sort of happen in the closer as well. But, I want to hear from each of you guys how your characters have evolved since the beginning of the closer, or at least, even since the beginning of Major Crimes. Phillip, do you want to start?
Okay. My character, I believe, started off just as sort of a yes ma'am, no ma'am, kind of observant character in the show. And to be honest, I was really pretty green when we started. I didn't know how to find my light. I couldn't read a call sheet. We were doing one episode, there was a big shootout in the murder room where JonTenney jumps onto Brenda and drags her to the ground because gunfire is going through the murder room. And Mike stopped the shot and he said, "Phillip, can you see the camera?" And I said, "No." And he said, "Well, there's a clue. It can't see you." So that was a big acting lesson for me that day. So, always learning on the job. Everybody's been very, very supportive. And it's been a great thing. And now the characters become much more involved with the day-to-day operations of the unit. And Buzz is now he's in training for becoming a reserve officer. So that will bring a new light into the character as well.
Well, I've had a really interesting journey on this, because from beginning with actually auditioning for a different role in the part and then getting the role of Fritz and developing that. I mean, in the closer, I always sort of saw my part of the puzzle as, it's the personal life of Brenda Lee. That's part of the story. That's where I came into the mix. And then the creators and the writers were very smart. They began saying, well, let's find a way to bring you more into the workplace. So then all of a sudden Fritz became the FBI liaison to the squad. So that added a dimension. And then when it transitioned in Major Crimes, and I came in and out, not in every episode, but I was sort of a recurring guest star, they said, well, we had a big discussion, like, well, how are we going to keep this character alive when the whole personal side is not there? We're not going to be with Brenda. So they've made this yet another transition into this idea of him heading up SOB, the Special Operations Bureau, which has been a really exciting additional element. So it's been, for me, it's just been a continual progression of discovery. And that is incredibly rare. I mean, it never, I just don't know where it happens. It just doesn't happen that way all the time. So I feel very lucky. And it goes back to what you were saying, Mike. I think, when you get involved with a group of people that really listen to actors and want to develop things with you, that's a real gift. So, but it's so, and it continues. We don't know where that's going to go. It's continuing to this day.
So I hear.
So obviously Amy started at Major Crimes, and I think for me there was always I needed a justification for why she was there to convince the audience that I was worth being there. So there's two sides to her. Clearly, she in the beginning was a little bit annoying, just a little bit. She says exactly how she feels, and she's green. She's new, and she has that kind of, I want to people please, and but then you also have to remember the other side of her, where she came from. She's ex-military. She does know her stuff. So I think it was about her, especially in last season and into this season, proving that she belongs and being entered into the group as kind of one of the guys. And I think more and more they've shown that. Definitely, they've let her lead a few cases in the first part of the season, and I think definitely I'm looking forward to seeing her grow a little bit more and lead a little bit more. But she's been such an interesting character because she does have so much of me. She's got that, I am the first hand up, I will answer any question you want, I will bake you a pie while I do it kind of person. And that's who I am. And so there's...
And it's lovely.
Literally.
It's lovely.
They're good.
And she's a really good baker.
She's actually baking one right now. So it's amazing.
You also do those party tricks.
I do lots of party tricks.
She's an extraordinary dancer.
I just made a snowman with 16 little
She's an
children this morning.
extraordinary
Yes.
dancer. I'm going to just
Thanks.
she's an amazing dancer. And so she does this little party trick where she stands next to you and
Can't do it
lifts
today.
her leg up over your head. She's standing like 3 inches away from you. She can. It's kind of crazy.
All of that while making an amazing lobster biscuit
Oh,
lunch.
well, see
That
how
will be
it's
on
so
the
easy to
DVD.
be part of this family? They just build you up. So yeah,
Coming on the
there's-
DVD.
There's parts of her that are clearly, that part of you that are that easy part to play. But what's really interesting is seeing her grow as an officer, seeing her grow into the squad, finding her rhythm, and not asking so much for permission, but just kind of taking the reins. So I'm looking forward to seeing where that goes. It's been great. Lucky, lucky, lucky. Pinch myself every day.
What I would also, just a quick add to that too, though, is the more that we learn about Kearran, the more we learn about Graham. You learn, it's like, ooh, right to that, run. They reveal pieces of themselves to us, and also as we sort of throw something at them and watch them devour it and take it in cool ways, you go, oh, all right, great. Now we know we can, let's shake the reins at that and go see where they can go too.
Graham?
Can I borrow that? No worries. Yeah, my experience has been really similar to Kathe's in the sense that, I started on the last episode of The Closer, and I was just a guest star, and I I showed up, you know, I did the work, and these guys are just, they're so great, and the writing is so great. They provide such a platform for actors. And, you know, relating it to the actor's life, I was kind of at a point where, you know, I didn't have a lot of auditions. It's those times where it's just such a lull, and like I was just so down. And then it was a same-day audition. You know, they said in 3 hours, can you memorize these 6 pages of heavy dialogue and work on that and bring it in, which I know we all love when that happens. And so I got that, and I went in with it, and in a matter of 2 days, you know, my entire life changed, which is something that's really important to remember. In our line of work, is that your life can change. It can all change in 2 seconds. And what's great about this specific platform is that every episode you watch of Major Crimes, down to the smallest one-line co-star, I feel like the writers do a really good job of making sure that there's a full life there, and that you, as an actor, on this show specifically, have the opportunity to take that and run with it and make it something special. And, you know, it actually could turn into a series regular. They give them out like candy on this show. So, but really on any show, you never know. But on any show, really, I mean, for me, what I've learned is always take full advantage of the platform you're given, whether it's you know, a little co-star or a you know, doing regional theater. Because you never know where it's going to go, and being here has just been a blessing and a really great experience. Your turn.
Okay. Well, my journey as Dr. Morales always believed and still believes he's on a show called The Coroner.
Coming next season.
And he actually is.
Heading for season 9. He has his own set.
Is that
and they
Dr. Morales or Jonathan?
No, Dr. Morales. Dr. Morales thinks in the show. Well, Jonathan does too. It's similar to Kate's in that I am kind of an outsider to the inner workings of the force, and the transition from the closer into using me more into Major Crimes has been that I've come to them more and been more involved in elements of solving the crime. So that's been kind of the bigger picture of it. And then sort of on a personal journey, I go in and out of being super bitchy. So I've had a really non-bitchy year, though. There's been very little eye rolling. Very little.
That's just so you can be really bitchy next year.
Yes.
We don't want, we always want new behavior.
Yeah, because I get really, you know, he gets really annoyed by people that don't do their jobs well. So I've been very calm this year, I thought. I've been very nice. Christmas is coming.
Just you white.
Okay. But I guess some good stuff is happening. So that's been my journey, and obviously personally, it's been an amazing experience to have a great job for this long with friends, you know. That's just, you know, you do a play, you have that bonding experience with your friends for 3 months, or if you get to do a play like Kearran's done Broadway, you do it for a year and you become friends with these people and you never see them again. Or you see them when you do your next show. With us, we've been doing this year in and year out and socializing with each other and, you know, being friends outside of work. And that's a huge privilege to be able to do that as an artist and have a place that you feel safe to go in and do your work. So personally, feeling really grateful for that.
My progression has been, I started off as DDA Hobbs, and then I was Hobbs, and now I'm Andrea. So that's pretty much my progression. But I also think that when she started, you know, she found Brenda to be an irritant. You know, she came in as a foil and a prop. You know, I thought they were all irritating and dumb, and I think that over the course of the 3 seasons I was on the closer, I started to see Brenda's intelligence and the intelligence of the rest of them, and my relationship with Mary is different. Mary and I are very collegial, if that's the word. I have a lot of respect for her, and I have grown to love them all in a certain way and also find them to be children in another way. So that's been great. I also think, you know, taking off from what Mike was saying, the distinctions of guest star and recurring and regular are a job distinction. They are not a writing distinction, an actor, they're not a character distinction. They have nothing to do, you don't go to a person's house for dinner and say, well, they're a regular here, but I'm only recurring. So I'm going to talk less at dinner or something, or you don't go to a doctor's office and say, I'm a day player in this doctor's life. The doctor's actually a day player in your life. And so it's really just, that's something that doesn't really mean anything as an actor. When you get on the set, it's your life, and it's all your life. And it's I see my job as to take it personally, take personally what happens in every scene, because I'm always in my life. Whether or not I'm saying one line, they're not more important in the life of my character than the character is, if that makes sense.
I think that's a great thing you say, Kate. I think that's actually, and it's difficult to do, I know, as an actor, when you come on as a guest star or whatever, because you feel like, hey, I'm entering into this world, all these people know each other, and I'm just here for a week, and so that's a very real feeling to say, I'm a guest. I am a guest in your house. And it can have an effect on you, I think, as an actor, to just be that little bit smaller, or that little bit, just not trust yourself. And I think that if a show is doing its job, and the director's doing their job, and the company's doing their job, they want to make everyone feel welcome. And like, hey, you know what? Our job is to create an environment where you can do your best work and you can show up completely fully, whether you're here for a day or whether you're here for a month or whatever. And but it doesn't, to be honest, it doesn't always happen that way. Sometimes the best intentions of companies aren't that way. So I would say to us, as an actor, what you said is so important to keep it in perspective that way, that you really have to dig down and say, hey, you know what? I'm here today, you're here today, there's no difference between us on this day when I'm here doing this work. And to show up as fully and as committed as you can. And that's really where the rewards come. It's hard to do, I understand it, but I think it's a great way to look at it.
Yeah, and I would say, feel empowered when you are hired. When you are hired, we so want you to come in and do your thing. And, you'll, hopefully you're walking into a very respectful environment that, and we've all been in some that are more and some that are less. But there's a contract that has been made with the people that are running that show that we loved what you did. You've been hired on merit. And now we have expectation you're going to come in and do your thing, and we want you to sail. We want you to do your thing. Some people want you to kind of quickly do your thing, and then off you go. But feel when you show up and you walk, you crisscross that second AD when you show up, and you're like, I'm here. You're there to succeed and do your thing, and just. Feel good about that. Don't feel like, okay, it's a line, and you're coming in and we want you to sing.
Because of that case of the week format, you're obviously always looking for guest stars. You've had some fantastic guest stars. What is it that you're looking for in guest stars when you're casting them?
I want somebody to make the material take off. I can have somebody. And sometimes, here's a really important thing in terms of casting. And every audition is important. Because even if you went in there and you nailed it, you were wonderful, and you didn't get that role, that doesn't mean that we and the casting directors didn't note that. Sometimes you're just not right for that role in a type situation. But that doesn't mean that they wasted it, I just got deleted from their memory banks. Absolutely not. We so many times, usually you walk out and go, wow, they're not right for that, but put them in the file. Put them in, put them on, or the writers will go, oh, that character's happening next week down the line. Remember, have them come back for that. So it's so funny. I've said to actors, sometimes I've had actors come back 6 or 7 times for different roles. And they're like, okay, here I am, bad penny, back again. And I'm like, no. I said, you're getting flattered here. We're looking for the right spot for you. So don't take that as a bad thing. Don't take that as like, I can't quite get it right. We're trying to get it right. And so we're bringing you back each time, and we're going, okay, you're doing your thing. Take it as absolute flattery. And every audition is important. Because when you show up, I am hoping you are going to rip the cover off the ball. I'm hoping you're going to make my life easy and make that audition sing, because then I can go, as a director, I sit and I'll have, I might have to cast 15 roles. And sometimes I've got like 3 like really big ones, and then there's like 7 or 8 of these that are, okay, they're theoretically they're going to be less of, they're going to require less of my attention. What is wonderful, and John directs with us too, what is wonderful is when you go, oh my gosh, you just showed up in this audition and you just literally took that worry off my plate as a director. Because I know it's like, okay, that is in the bank. And then there's others, and I go, okay, I'm going to have to spend some time there. That's not a perfect audition, but it's in the right zone, and I'm going to really have to work in that situation. But I am so thankful when actors come in. I'm like, oh my gosh, that was great. I love you. Go to wardrobe and show up and do that again, and I'm going to be thrilled.
I auditioned 5 times for the show, for the closer. First time was for the first coroner that I can't think of who
James
played him.
Avery.
No, prior to him, in the pilot.
Mysteriously died?
The one in the pilot, it wasn't James, it was someone else. Maybe it was the coroner's assistant or something.
Clyde Kuz.
Yes.
Kutsatsu.
Yes. So, and I wasn't right for what they were looking for originally in the coroner. And then I went in for several other roles, and I did get that, like, oh God, it's just so awkward to go back in and not get it again. And I went in and I read, and Greer was directing. She knows me very well, and James knows me very well and wrote the role. And I did the first scene, and she goes, oh, just do Johnny. I'm like, what do you mean? She goes, just be you. And that's what brought the character out. So it took 5 times before I got the job, It's true.
That was just because we didn't like him, but that's a different. Doesn't apply.
Mike didn't like me. Greer clearly did.
But it's true that count your callbacks, not your parts, because that last little thing about getting the part can have so much to do with things that you have no control over, and the type, this, all that stuff that you can't take to heart. But it amazes me. I mean, they've been very fortunate. I've been very fortunate. They've let me direct, sort of launched my directing career on this show. And I learned so much as an actor, being on that other side, like in the casting room, watching actors come in. And I think the thing I learned the most is what all the energy you spend as an actor concerning yourself with certain things that are actually just impediments to getting in your way. Like, you do not have to worry about these things. And the one thing I see all the time is actors come in, and when they walk into that audition room, there's a part of them like doesn't want to be there. Like, I go, wow, that person came in. They're actually there's something interesting going on, but they don't want to be here. They're like hiding from the second they walk in the room, and or apologizing, or like, I'm really sorry. I didn't have a lot of time on the, all these sort of defenses, and I understand it because it's an incredibly vulnerable place to be. But as a director sitting there watching that, I want to see you. And the actor who comes in and says, take a look at what I'm gonna take a look at me, just see me. That's a huge difference. And I know it comes from a place of defensiveness, I think, a lot of times, or covering up. But that's something I see over and over again that has been really telling to me. So I guess actor to actor, I'd say take your space. Take your space. Do not. I mean, it's about taking your space. So.
And that room is yours. We want you to succeed. When you go to audition, it's not. You're not hassling us by having to audition. No. You are doing us a gigantic favor coming in there, and we want you to that room is yours. Own it.
So I want to have some time for questions from the audience, but kind of continuing on that theme, this is from Alexandra. What advice do you have for people entering the business?
Alexandra, actors entering the business?
Well, actors, and like really anybody entering, just like, I mean, we're at SAG, so like actors.
Here's a really good thing, I think. You do not have a day off, okay? Every single day that you're on the planet, you're an artist.
What are you doing right now?
Well, you are the artist, whether you're a writer, whether you're a director, whether you're an actor. You're a behavioralist, okay? We have to use characters to communicate stories. And so what you need to do is observe the world. You need to have life experiences, you need to observe the world. So even if you're like, I don't have an audition today, I don't have an audition next week, you know what? Go put yourself in situations where you can observe behavior. And you can watch how creatures react to certain things. It goes in you. So then you've actually, when you go, oh, I have to play this. And then as opposed to guessing at it, you have a sort of a DNA experience of it. And so I would say that's a really good thing is literally there's no day off. So even if if you're stuck as a writer and it's like, I can't do something, it's like, go to the Getty and just go have lunch up there. Go let art hit you in the face. Go walk in a demonstration. Go experience that. Like that.
Anyone else on the panel want to answer? Graham?
I would also say, for me, it's never stop learning and growing. Even if tomorrow you hit the jackpot and you're the biggest star in the world. Never stop working on it, because the minute you stop, and I could say this from personal experience, the minute you stop working on yourself and your craft, everything plateaus no matter what. I got my first show, I was even younger than I am now, when I was 15 years old. And during I'm 7 years old. No, I was 15 years old, and I got this show, and it went for 3 years. Okay, so we had 3 hiatuses. And during those hiatuses, I didn't work once, and we had really long hiatuses. And the reason being, because I worked a ton on my craft, going to acting class and stuff when I lived in New York, and working so hard to get that job. And then I got the job, and I thought it was done. I thought I was set. But I stopped working on myself, so it's like going to the gym. My ability dropped, and whether working on it for you is going to an acting class, or maybe class isn't for you, maybe it's just a private coaching or reading a book. I still go to acting class every week that I can. I still coach on every audition. I get, and so that would be my advice. Long story short, just never stop improving. And the mantra that I keep is like get 1% better every day. And if you get 1% better every single day, it's it's in the right direction. So, yeah.
Anyone else want to add? Kearran?
Yeah, I would also say, not on the opposite side of that, because they all go hand in hand, but I would also say give yourself time. Give yourself time and space to succeed, because anyone who's been there on either side of the table can see that stressful actor that comes in with that, I need this job right now so bad, please see me, oh God. We can feel it, we can see it, everyone can. Give yourself time. Yeah. Don't say, okay, if I don't get something in this many months or this many, sometimes it takes years. It's taken all of us, even if we started at 7, it's all taken us spans of years to get that job that we really wanted. So relax, work on your craft in the time. If you're not booking, do a play, write something, go to the Getty, observe, but relax and give yourself time.
I mean, and it is an ongoing process, because there is no there. It's not, this job is going to end for all of us, Maybe
We won't
not for
tell
a
him.
year, 2 years, whatever it is, but it will end. It doesn't, that is the actor's life. You go from job to job. You are, and so you really have to look at it as a journey, as my journey as an artist with this craft, within this world that I want to explore and contribute to. And we're lucky we have a great gig now, today, and that's it. So in one level, I can say that can be scary, but I think there's actually great comfort to be found in that. Like, I'm taking this journey from there all the way over to there, and constantly discovering. I mean, I find peace in that, thinking about it in those terms. So.
I think also, most people who aren't actors or artists will probably not say that it's a very wise choice or a good choice to become an actor, but, it's a beautiful choice to become an actor. If you judge whether or not you've had a good life as an actor by your bank account, that's probably not a good way to judge it. But it's a choice to not do that. It's a choice to say, I get to grow in a very particular way and do something that's very particularly odd and beautiful. And I consider an audition going to work. I consider working on an audition going to work. I consider watching movies going to work. And I feel very lucky that I've gotten to live this lifetime in such an odd way and a wonderful way. And I also think that actors have so many skills that they learn that a lot of people never get to learn, just weird things like, weird things that you're called upon to do, like have JonTenney leap on you when you get shot at or something. And I was like, that's what I did today. That's a great day.
Hold your head over an open trash can and have green blown all over your face.
That's a great day. But it's also a great day to say, I need to learn a Polish accent. That's a great day. I'm going to spend today on YouTube watching a 15-year-old girl in Virginia on her bed telling me how to pronounce these words. So auditions are a great way to spend the day too, and talking to other actors can be a great way to spend the day. They're sort of amazing people in lots of different ways. So I think when you're feeling not productive or you feel like, well, maybe I made the wrong choice, you didn't make a choice about success. You can't make that choice. You make a choice about your life and how you want to live it every day when you wake up. And if other people don't agree with it, that's okay. They're having a different life. It's not really their affair. You've got to get to bed at the end of the day and go, oh, that was an exciting day, even though I didn't make a cent, or even though no one told me I was great. It was an exciting day to be alive.
That's gorgeous.
I would add to, that's amazing.
She's amazing.
She's really nailing it today. I would add to what Kearran said about time. Two things about time. I was recently back in acting class during the run. I had about a month off during the season because there were several episodes I wasn't in. So I decided to go back to acting class during that month. And one of the things that the teacher had told one of the actors was rushing through something. He said to him, you have time. Within the scene, you have time. You don't have to rush. But also on time, James Duff, who's the creator of the show, had said to me about a year into doing the closer, he said, you've been doing this a long time and you've proved that if you stay at the table long enough, eventually they have to feed you. And I thought that was such a great sort of like, it's true, there's this starving person at the table. Eventually, they have to feed you. It's, he's a genius, so he can come up with these things. For my own personal journey, I was a young actor like Graham in 16, 17, started acting. I had a really great run through my 20s, and then nothing for a long, long time. And during that period, I found something else I was passionate about that wasn't acting. And I encourage you to look for that as well, because this business isn't, you may be in it until you're 90 or 100 if you live that long, and you may have periods where you'll be really hot and you'll work, but what is that other thing that you love to do to make money, make it your day job that you can make money out of it, that you can invest your humanity into, and that you can make a change in the world, that you can do something other than being a waiter, other than all the jobs that we as actors have tried because they're convenient to our schedule. So for me, in my 30s, I found a new passion for, first it was politics, then it was fundraising, and then it was charity work that I was super busy with. Even through the closer, I had a day job that I was keeping up until last year. That was a key thing for me, because not having a place to put my human passion, you know, you could have it, you could put it in class, you could put it in your acting work if you are lucky enough to afford class, and if you're lucky enough to have an acting job. But if you don't, and you're an actor, chances are you're an amazing human being, because you've picked a career that you have to tap into your humanity. So you have something to give. Give it. Find something else while you act. That would be my thing.
Wow. All right. Well, thank you all so much. This was a great way to spend the morning. I really enjoyed this conversation. I hope you guys did too. Thank you all so much for coming.
Thanks.
Thank you.